Flesh Radio.
Welcome to Rotten Flesh Radio, episode 6 for Monday, July 12th. And as always,
It's not the 12th.
it's not
Not
the
the
12th,
12th either.
it's the 5th. It's my wife's birthday. That's why we had to cut it late tonight. As always, thank you, Midnight Syndicate. We always give them a lot of airtime. So today I think we're just going to say, hey, Ed, hey, Gavin. Thanks, guys. And we're just going to jump right into things tonight. I'm
Yeah.
your host, Dan. To my left, we've got this guy in a women's shirt.
I figured that out just a little bit ago. It opposites the opposite direction. But I'm Topher, as you all know, and across from me are very special.
Michaela.
There you go. We always
You
love
act
her.
as if she didn't know her own name.
Well,
It's like,
it's okay.
come on, give it. You know what it is.
Oh!
Michaela. Got it. Yes. That is me.
So, guys,
It's been an eventful 2 weeks.
has any of that time this 2 weeks, has any of it been horrific, like spent in the Halloween genre? Like, what have you guys
I
been
know
up
I
to?
got to do some special stuff, but I think before we get to my special stuff, I think it's best to talk about some of the stuff that's been in the past.
Are we
What was
taking
in
a
it?
Wayback Machine or something?
I mean, a Wayback Machine, or as far back as we know that you went to Edinburgh.
True. I did go to Edinburgh. There's some controversy on how to say the name. I don't
Sorry,
remember
that's me.
how Kat said it was like actually pronounced, but me from Iowa, Midwest, I'm gonna say Edinburgh.
In Scotland, there's a township called Edinburgh, but it's spelled the exact same way.
Yeah.
So if you're in Scotland, then it's Edinburgh. But if it's here, then maybe we're okay with.
Yeah. I'm just going to say Edinburgh because it's easier, and that's just how I say it. But yeah, so I went to Edinburgh Manor. This was back in April, I believe. And we took a tour with Kat and the Iowa Paranormal Investigative Group, and we got to see some really cool stuff.
Did they bring their tools and their?
They did.
Their equipment?
Yeah. We got the special treatment, me and Noah. So they were holding just like a regular tour that you can go and pay for. Just go on their website, and so we did that, and then we got to hang around and investigate with them and all their fancy tools that you would see on like Ghost Adventures, which was so crazy because I've watched Ghost Adventures for so long, and getting to see the spirit box and the I can't remember what it's called. It's the Connect.
Was it IR camera?
Yeah,
Pretty much? Yeah.
yeah, but it's hooked up to a Connect system.
The
So-
Xbox Connect system, right?
Yeah,
Like you see in the Paranormal Activity movies when they turn it on, you see all the green.
yeah, and then you can see a skeletal outline of something that you may not be able to see with your eyes. And I have pictures of it all, so we'll have to throw some up on the screen.
Yeah, that's why we're going video tonight. We are considering potentially going only audio, but we're not quite there yet.
Not
for
for
now.
this episode.
No, I want to see this.
So, some of the highlights, we're going through this building that, you can look up the history and everything of it, but basically it started out as just like a poorhouse. And the whole building is made of limestone and concrete. So, everything is just kept inside.
It's all dark
it is
and
a
dank
very-
and drippy, and now you can see it, smell it, hear it, right?
Yes, absolutely. So some notable things that happened. We were in the basement, me, Noah, and Kat, and we were in this area where it was down by like the kitchen where they made the food, and they had this big walk-in freezer. So I was inside the freezer looking around with
That's taking your life into your hands, isn't it?
a little bit. Yeah, I was like, please don't close the door because we don't know like if it will open again.
Yeah, because this was built in like the 1400s, and there's no like emergency release for the door.
Well, 1800s, but close.
Well, yeah, I know, 1400s.
And
Christopher Columbus built a freezer here in Iowa.
Oh,
right.
Lord.
And I had the EMF detector, I was just looking for electromagnetic stuff.
The guys let you.
Yeah, no, we got
handle
to.
their
Yeah, we got to
equipment?
use all the equipment.
Oh wow,
Kat
that's
trusts us, so.
okay.
Yeah, shout out her. She made this all possible. So I was in there and I was just looking around. Nothing was really happening for me. And Kat and Noah just stopped and they're like, hey, come outside really quick. Like, just come to the door. And I was like, what? What's there? And we have these like still images, and I think Kat has a video as well. So basically what happened is we captured a figure on the Kinect that was right outside the door. So I'm in the doorway and it's on the wall right next to me. And the shape of the body looks like it's like sneaking across the side of the wall, like to try
Like
and like
you're-
hide from me.
You're like your typical adventure video game.
Yeah.
You're on the
Like
ledge
they're
and you
like-
sneak against.
Yeah, it looked like that. The arms were all stretched out and bent and everything, and it was like crouching.
Was there anything like abnormal about the shape? Were the arms extra long
Yeah,
or anything
so
like that?
That was something we did capture another figure in the basement and like the downstairs where I'll tell you about as well. But both of them had extremely long limbs. Like this one in particular had really long arms and like a shorter torso. And the other one that we captured was, if you look at the scale of everything in the like image, had to have been about 9 or 10 feet tall.
Wow.
Wow.
Its head was like up in the ceiling.
I was about to mention too, back in the 1800s, 1700s, 1800s, about the time this would have been 1800s, right?
Yeah, 18.
Most
early 19.
people were shorter back then.
Yeah.
So like Abraham Lincoln at 6'4" or whatever he was just insanely
giant.
tall. He really was.
Yeah, he was absolutely a giant.
Yeah, tall people were very rare. So for something like this to happen, it makes you wonder
Right.
how abnormal or extraordinary these people could have been, if they indeed were people.
And the other crazy thing too is that the top floor of this was used for criminally insane or really bad like cases of like mental illness.
So this is like
And-
Silent Hill kind of junk.
There were people that, there were just regular people that didn't have anywhere else to go. But then there were people that they were being transported from like place to place and they were being held there. So you think like, okay, if it was a criminally insane or like a very mentally deranged person, maybe that's like their image of themselves, like how they view themselves.
That's how they're
that, like,
projecting themselves. then?
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So, as I'm like coming out of this freezer and I like turn around to look at the wall and I'm holding the EMF reader to see if I can pick up the person, and in the video and then in the stills that we took, its arm goes and like touches the back of my head and then up to my chin. And
Like
then,
caressing you,
yeah,
like gently.
it touches, it like goes across my hair and then my chin, and then it like disappears.
So, attractive woman, it comes up and it caresses you.
Mm-hmm.
Did it
Yeah.
interact with Noah?
No, it was just like
Did it just
upward
like
by.
ignore Noah, or was there any opportunity to even interact in the first place?
Well, he was kind of back like where the camera was. That Kat was pointing it at where I was, inside the freezer, and it was just like this big wall next to us that it just like appeared.
So it makes you wonder if he would have treated everybody a little differently.
Yeah.
Like you have the kind of features that one would,
Yeah,
or if
I had
Noah
my hair
would be
down
like,
and
I'm offended by you because I'd rather have interactions with this.
yeah. Noah did get his time to shine though, so Ghost Adventures did investigate this place and they have an episode on it,
They do.
which is super cool, and they have
It's giving me chills.
an infamous like interaction with someone that they call the Joker. So they have this infamous interaction with a entity that they call the Joker in the basement, and you can look it up online, and all accounts say that like the Joker is a malevolent spirit and he likes to choke people. In my perspective, since this is like my first time doing a paranormal investigation, I kind of came into it with a different attitude. I wasn't scared and I wasn't thinking that something bad was going to happen. I understood that, like, these were people that they didn't have any family, potentially. They didn't have any money. They didn't have anywhere to go. Some were mentally ill or disabled in some way. So they probably don't know, like, they just want attention. So that's kind of how I went into it. And me and Noah were in this long hallway where the Joker is said to reside, and Kat goes, "Michaela, come here, check this out." And as Noah is standing in this hallway, like with his EMF reader, this figure is next to him, and like I said, is got to be 9 or 10 feet tall, because in this huge corridor, his head is all the way up, like in the ceiling, in the pipes. And as you can see, as we like tell Noah, like, hey, don't freak out, but he's like on top of you, like he's
Don't
right
freak
next
out.
to you. And Noah is like, he has his reader, and he's like going up and up and
And keeps
up,
going.
and it keeps getting higher and higher as it like gets closer to this.
So the
Joker
higher you go, the more you
character.
freak out.
Wow.
'Cause-
And then he does what he said. His arms go around Noah's neck, and you can see both of his hands like on either side of Noah's neck.
And you think that this is the same entity that gently caressed your face now wants
No,
to...
definitely not the same entity. It
Oh.
looked different, and they were in different areas. That the other one was shorter. It was like my height, but had really long arms.
So all these crazy different personalities are coming together in this...
And this one, its legs stopped like at Noah's head, basically.
Wow.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
and
This takes me into The Conjuring 2.
Well,
with
and
the Crooked
Noah's what,
5'11".
5'11"? Yeah. So to give that a little perspective, legs being 5'11".
Yeah, he's a
Yikes.
big guy.
Yeah, that's
and
scary.
everything that he did and looked like fit the description of the Joker. And he choked Noah, and we asked Noah, we're like, do you feel anything by chance? Because we didn't tell him that this was happening. We're just like, hey, do you by chance feel like anything going on?
Maybe even like cold or something at least, right?
And he said that he felt lightheaded, like he felt like a headache. And we were like, huh, okay, so that checks out. But then, so we didn't exactly tell Noah that he was being choked, but we were like, hey, just so you know, there's someone interacting with you. And he was just like, hello, like, what's your name? You know, he was not
Yeah.
fazed whatsoever. And then I saw a complete shift in the personality of this entity. It, like, I mean, it's as tall as Noah, like, to its legs, but it, like, sat on his shoulders and, like, draped its arms around him like he was, like, just chilling. Like, he had his one arm around Noah's neck like they were buddies. And so I said out loud, I was like, hey, I'm going to take a picture so I can show you.
No, you lost it, didn't you?
No, it posed exactly.
Really?
It stayed exactly like that. And I took
Wow.
a picture of it, and it was just like standing next to Noah with its arm like this, and Noah was just like, he had no idea what was going on, but I was like, hey, you look like your friends, like, I'm going to take your picture. And it held that pose perfectly. And then Noah had some other interaction with it where he like put his arm out and is like trying to find it with the EMF, and its arms are like grabbing at his arms, like trying to like grab the...
Trying to interact
Like,
with the
to-
object.
Yeah.
and
That's it's so crazy.
I know, and you know, we're asking the questions like, hey, can you touch this thing in my hand? Can you say something? Like, can you do something for us? And it was intelligently like trying to grab what Noah had in his hands. And
That's so
I've got some
cool.
cool
Oh,
pictures
boy.
of all this stuff, like of all these like stills from the Connect. And then shortly after it appeared and we never saw that particular entity again, probably was the Joker, if you want to call him that. But I feel like I never felt unsafe, or like I never felt scared or anything while I was there.
I was gonna ask that. Like, did you ever feel any kind of like terror or like confusion or
I
you
felt sad, like the top floor with like the particularly troubled patients. I felt really sad up there, and
Yeah.
there was a room where
Like a self-imposed sadness, or more like a
the air just felt different. Like it was
Right.
unusually quiet for like a concrete building, you know.
Like, I mean, I'm guessing it felt heavy. Like,
Yeah.
it just, do you ever walk into a place and, like, just the air feels heavy? Like, there's not, like, really emotion, but you just kind of, like,
there's something that you can't perceive,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you just know.
And
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the history of the building at all. Like, I had no idea what this place was. I just knew it was haunted and we're going here. And I just immediately felt the air was very heavy. I felt kind of sad and just like, I feel sorry for what happened here. Like, I'm not sure what it was, but I feel sorry. And, you know, then I learn, oh, this room, like, somebody committed suicide, or, you know, somebody here was assaulted, and, you know, then you're like, oh, that explains why it feels sad
Yeah,
here.
not
Yeah.
really a very happy place, no happy events, but to know that the people coming in to begin with
Mhm.
had no life or no family, no history, no
Right,
just the highlights of their existence existed within this building, and
right.
that energy
So-
was retained by that building.
When people say, like, oh, I was scratched here, or, you know, Ghost Adventures, like, oh, they say the Joker, like, threw a plate. And, I mean, you can see, like, Billy, like, something was thrown at him.
absolutely.
Whether or not, you know, that actually really did happen, or was it for TV, I don't know. But I don't think that it was done to be malicious or mean. I think it's just because they have no, like, most of the people there are buried in an unmarked grave outside. Like, their
Right.
bodies are just wherever.
Right.
So they have no one or nowhere to remember them. They're lonely, they're sad, they had a pretty bad life. Like, they probably just want attention in any way they can get.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if, like, this is now their existence.
Yeah.
Like, they're living their lives now,
Mhm.
ironically, in a
Right.
post-mortem state.
Odd way to think of it, but
Probably
yeah.
getting more attention and better attention from the paranormal groups that come through than they ever did in their lives,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
which is interesting when you think about it. So,
Any other spectacular moments from that trip, from that visit?
one actually kind of funny moment is me and Noah were playing with the spirit box.
Those things are so much fun.
Yeah, so we had the spirit box where it goes through the channels of radio frequencies, and voices will come through over several channels. Like, that's how you know that it was a disembodied voice. And we were in a pool room, which was in the men's wing, and it was like a recreational area for people to gather. And we were just kind of experimenting, you know, like, okay, who's here with us? And we got a response that said, everyone.
Everyone.
That would kind of freak me out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know,
And-
are we getting good people? Are we getting good bad people? Are we
Yeah.
getting everybody in between? And
And we were like,
oh no.
oh, hi everyone. And it was really cool because on TV, I don't know that it doesn't translate well, but I could never hear the spirit box very clearly on Ghost Adventures. Like, they'd be like, oh, I heard this, and I'm like, I didn't hear anything. But it was really clear for us when we heard things. It was very easy to make out what they said. And we asked for some specific names, and we got one recurring one named Steven that we heard his voice come through again and again. And then we got a name Wanda. And I was like, Wanda? That's a woman's name. Are you going to be in trouble because you're here in the men's wing? Like, you're not supposed to be over here.
Uh-oh.
And she said no. And then a voice immediately after said yes.
Oh no.
And we were like, Wanda, you're going to get in trouble. And I don't know, there were just like times where, you know, something weird would happen. I don't remember what particularly happened. Like, it cut out or like turned off or something. And
Technology being technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was the EMF reader just like turned off out of nowhere. And Noah was like, did it time out? Like, it didn't do this the entire time. This is so weird. And Steven, his voice came through and was like, and?
Oh.
Like, it was so funny. Because Noah was like, I don't get it. This didn't do this the entire time we're here. And he was like, and?
Spirits have a sense of humor.
Yeah. And
that's badass.
it was so cool. Like, you know, you think of mostly sadness or being scared, and talking to spirits is like, oh, like this is really like crazy, but they were just normal people. And so it was funny to see them have a little sense of humor. He was like, and Noah was like, oh, we got a comedian in here.
Dude, I love it. I like to think that that's the way I'll be when I'm in their position, so to speak. Yeah.
Right. Hopefully someday.
If Dan's ever a spirit, he'll be the smart ass that's in the corner just
Just screwing with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, just ask me a question. Give me that spirit box.
Bring it on,
Yeah.
buddy. All right. Wow. So
Yeah. It was a really cool experience. I'd love to go back.
so now we go to Topher. See, this is an entire episode based on what horrific things you guys did.
I mean,
since we last recorded. So
in
do
a
we
sense,
start-
kind of,
yeah. In a sense, it's
Normally we'd be like, oh, found a kitten in an engine. Oh, I watched this movie. Oh, I went to this haunted attraction. And then we move on.
So, not really horrific, but I got to experience Ghost Boat in Wisconsin Dells. For those of you that don't know what Ghost Boat is, it's not exactly what you think. Some people think that it's like a paranormal experience. Some people think that it's just, you get on a boat, they tell ghost stories.
Something called Ghost Boat. What the hell is it not?
It is actually a haunt experience.
Oh, so it's like a haunted attraction?
Yes.
Ooh.
So, super, super cool to experience something like that, especially in the summertime. Something that you don't get to experience usually until October, right? When I went there, I was oblivious. I was like, cool, Ghost Boat. I like ghosts. I like spooky things. It was super cool.
Yeah.
Got to meet some of the owners afterwards, but some really, really cool stuff that they did there. So, when you arrive, you meet at the dock, and everyone loads up onto a boat, and it's an experience with
Is this like Hatchet?
I don't know what Hatchet is.
You've never seen the first Hatchet?
Nope.
Where they all it takes place in Louisiana. It's
Okay.
a slasher flick,
Okay.
and so they're all in the bayou.
Okay.
So they get on a boat
Yeah.
and they go on a ghost tour. Is it similar to?
Sort of. Kind
Okay.
of.
Well, now I've got
so-
context. All right.
A
As
little
much
context,
bayou
and
as
I'll give
Wisconsin
you more
could have.
context
Victor
as we go
Crowley.
here.
You survived Victor Crowley?
You get on a boat with, I don't know, probably 40, 50 people.
Okay. This is where it
so
diverts
it's like
from
a
Hatchet.
large group, right? So you're not really going through this experience alone, right? So you've got this big group of people. Obviously, you'll see scares coming, things like that. But the coolest part was when you're getting on the boat, this boat takes about a 10 to 15 minute trip upriver.
With nothing going on?
With nothing going on. It's just you and this group of people on the boat.
Are you allowed to communicate with the... Is this like Survivor where you're not supposed to communicate with the other people?
You can talk
Okay,
to people,
okay.
things like that. I mean,
could-
it's a public experience, so it's not like...
Imagine
it's not
this
like
awkward
everyone
public
be quiet.
silence.
No.
Like, there's not very many ghosts on this ghost boat.
No. But as we're going upriver, they start playing, the backstory of the trip, right? Long story short, this old mining town was digging, and they found gold, they found silver, they found all of this.
In Wisconsin?
Dude, I don't know. Don't look at me like that.
I thought
You've
all
never
Wisconsin
heard of-
had was cheese and
You've
beer.
never heard of the Wisconsin Gold Rush?
No.
But
It's South Dakota Gold Rush.
South Dakota. But then as they're digging, people are coming back, are going missing out of the blue. They can't find people. Then they started talking about that they believed that it was the Wendigo that they had found there.
Ooh, be careful saying that. It's almost nighttime.
I know it is. It's getting a little dark here. But
if you say the name, it comes to you. It seeks you out.
Oh, whenever I hear the word Wendigo, I think of the old X-Men video stand-up arcade game from the 90s, where one of the bosses was Wendigo, and he would come out of the screen and go, Wendigo, and slash at you.
Not quite.
Not quite, but they had an actor as the Wendigo. He was really, really cool.
Wait, your boat ride had an actor?
No, we're getting there. I apologize. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh no, I'm really gripped.
Okay, perfect.
I can't wait to hear
Great.
this.
We were on a boat in Wisconsin and then a Wendigo.
And we're talking about Wendigos. When we get there, the people have been disappearing, and at one point, the miners find this well, and they're like, well, we gotta go through this way, and then they break the well, and the legend has it that in this area they were digging so far down that they reached the point of hell. And when they broke the well had opened up and then started to invite demons out from hell.
Oh, that's a cool story.
In Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
Hang on,
This is going to be the
Wisconsin.
crux of this entire thing.
Wisconsin.
All of this happened in Wisconsin.
You arrive there, and I'm talking a very narrow passage. I'm probably about the width of your wall here, narrow passage. So we're in a boat going through here, and there's just a dock on the
boat
side.
Big enough for 40, 50 people.
Exactly. So you're thinking like a ferry boat,
Right,
almost,
right.
but a little
That
smaller.
boat is skinny. Skinny.
We pull up, and as you begin to trek up into the entrance, you're met with a gypsy, and the gypsy is telling you, "Go back. You're not supposed to be here." She's like, this young one seems
Was
to be
there
a
an
witch.
actor that was...
Yeah, dude. I talked to them. That night they had about 20 actors.
Wait, they actually
staff?
had an actor
have-
portraying a gypsy?
Yes.
Did you steal her tears?
No.
Borat joke.
Just kidding. I love Borat. But as we continued through, you're going through this canyon, right? And you get towards the back. Obviously, actors are coming out.
But you
popping
ignored
out
the
at
gypsy
ya.
and moved on anyway.
Yeah, we're going through.
Oh, you're in trouble, dude.
The actors are interacting with you. It was quite fun. I know for myself and my group, we tried to stay towards the back of our entire group, just because as haunters, we love to experience things, right? So I wanted to experience. I wanted to
Right.
look at the makeup. I wanted to
Yeah.
look at.
It
the
wasn't about
lighting.
being at the back of the pack. It was
No.
about the fact that you guys kind of lagged behind and kept stopping to look at things.
Not even that. I knew right from the get-go, we had all these younger kids, and, you get the teenagers that are, running right up to the
Yep.
front,
Yep.
making a bunch of noise, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I want to take this in
Yep.
for what it is.
The haunt actor is always the last one in the group.
Yeah. But as we're going through, the actors are doing their thing. Beautiful experience. I recommend anyone to try it out, especially if you're in the Dells.
Is it a year-round thing?
It is a year-round thing.
So you can see it in the fall. You could even potentially see it.
See it in the winter. I highly doubt you could see it in the winter, because who the hell is
Ice.
running around in Wisconsin in winter time?
So
right?
do they run these tours up until the river ice is over?
Probably. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you have to take the boat back. Beautiful scenery, by the way. Beautiful scenery. Some of my favorite experiences. So you get all the way to the end of the canyon, and there's the miners' outpost. Well, you have these two actors. beautiful dialogue too that they had. These people shouldn't be here. Why are they here? You know, the spirits are going to take you, and my life was taken for some reason, and I don't understand. And at some point, the spirit comes out, and there's this thunderous boom, and flashes a light, and then they have a projection up on the rocks, and up on the rocks is the spirit. He comes out, and he was like, "You're all doomed," right?
Perfect.
And as
Sounds very Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and that's what I said when he was telling me this earlier. He goes, "Okay, ghost boat. What do you think of?" And I'm like, "Scooby-Doo."
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Yeah, and he was like,
Zoinks.
"No, but okay."
Okay.
Did somebody drop their glasses?
No one dropped their glasses.
Oh, damn it. I wanted to say, my glasses.
I dropped my glasses.
My glasses.
That would be me.
He would be the Velma character.
And
Yes, the token glasses.
At this
character.
time, you come to that dead end, right? So you have to now go back through the same way you came. So they did it super, super well so that the lighting actually shifted into something different. So as you're coming up the way, you've got these actors that are like, they're mining, or they're doing this other, as I would say, NPC, like,
Going about
type
what
things.
their
NPC
characters'
activity.
lives would be going
Exactly.
on. Okay.
And then now, as you're coming back, everything has shifted because the spirit has taken them over and is now turning them against you.
As you're in the boat.
No, now you're
you're
in
in
the
the-
cavern. So like you're already off the boat and you've already walked through this cavern and you've seen all this going
Yeah.
on. You get to the end, the spirit takes them over, and then the path now shifts. You're still taking the same path, but now it's different lighting, it's different effects, things like that. So as you're walking down this path, the actors are climbing up at you. They're trying to grab at you, and your normal haunt experience.
So it evolves. You started this boat trip, it evolves into your typical haunt experience.
Yeah.
How do they
And,
top it off?
the way that they top it all off, the boat. That's
boat.
kind of what the
Do they have a finale? Is there
I mean, there really wasn't a finale. It's just kind of like I would say their finale is the shift.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So they've taken you on this roller coaster, but your roller coaster, they've
kinda
got their
stays
big
up top.
moment, right? And then here's your big moment, and then your hill's just kind of like this. Like it's just a long hill. So yeah, you might pick up speed, but it's just kind of the same long hill.
Do you
all
feel
the way
like then
down.
it was like lacking your typical haunt attraction or
No.
maybe movie climax, so to speak?
No, because that climax is you getting out, right? As any other movie, you've come, you've experienced it, you've seen what's going on, you've now had the interaction with the evil of the movie, and then now
Okay.
you're getting out.
So kind of like let's say Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You get to the end and you find out that final girl, she doesn't actually kill Leatherface.
Right.
She
Okay,
just
spoiler
peacefully gets away. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it.
That's right. It's Michaela.
Yeah.
I get it.
Boo, Dan, boo.
Well, now I know the ending,
Mwah,
so
mwah.
I might as well just now watch it.
Well, now we got to put a
Oh,
spoiler
no.
screen up there. But
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
On
You
our
haven't
way
seen a
back,
40-year-old movie?
you know,
50?
on our,
50.
Oops. I'm behind. What else is new?
on our way back, it was so cool.
How did you get back?
You walk your way back through.
All the way
Of
through,
the-
even the boat ride part of it? You have to
Yeah,
walk it
and then
back?
you get back onto the boat, and then the
Okay.
boat takes you back.
Okay.
Sadly, I wasn't able to take pictures. Right? Obviously, in a haunted attraction, you're not really going to be able to take pictures.
Yeah, they
but
frown on it.
the actors, they were so cool. I got to speak with some of the management there. On a great night, they usually say they have anywhere from 50 to 75 actors on staff.
Oh wow.
Think about that.
How many times do they run the show in a night?
From what I could figure out, you can find all of their information online. But I think they do 3 shows, and I mean, it's about, I would say, an hour experience, right? A 15-minute boat ride up, probably a 10-minute boat ride back, because then you're going down, downstream. But then you're within the haunt itself for about 30 minutes. So it was really, really, really cool to experience a quote-unquote natural haunted house where everything, like your walls are rock, right? Like, it's not like, they put up the plaster and they painted it to look like rock.
They bought that facade in Chicago.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. It's all real rock.
Real
rock.
Authentic.
All in all, it was
Wisconsin rock.
With Canthan rock.
I love beer from Wisconsin.
Oh, dude, it was so cool. It was so cool to experience something like that.
Sounds very unique. Is it something? It feels like Raven's Grin is infamous. Do you think that maybe the haunt evolves over the seasons, whereas Raven's Grin doesn't necessarily evolve until you get to October? Do you think that like October or like Raven's Grin, that October gives you a unique experience on that ride? Do they kind of expedite the process?
I don't know.
More actors, fewer actors?
I'm really not sure.
Because like Raven's Grin, you go in, let's say August.
Yeah.
I've been in August, in July, August. You go in, it's just Jim. And if there's nobody else booked, you get the full Jim Warfield experience. He tells the stories and he takes things to the 120th level, and you get to take in the entire house. Whereas in October, he's got haunt actors, and the tour guide might be somebody that just learned the history of the house last week, and you kind of get pushed through, boom, 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 you're done.
Yeah.
But in August, you get Jim, you get a 2-hour tour. You think that might be the kind of experience that one would receive at this haunt?
To be honest,
what was the name of the haunt?
It's Ghost Boat.
Ghost
that's
Boat.
The name is Ghost Boat.
So like ghostboat.com?
Probably.
Or Google just Ghost Boat.
Google
and you're probably
Ghost
gonna
Boat.
find it.
Yeah,
Ghost
Google
Boat, Wisconsin Dells.
There you go, and you will find it instantly.
Is it part of Wisconsin Dells or is it independent?
I mean, it's. I believe it's independent. I know it's a part of a lot of other boat experiences that you can do there, but it is just one of those few experiences.
Tour the Dells or tour these fishing spots, and then there's.
I know they have
haunted attraction lovers.
Yeah.
Here you go, a
The
little something
Dells
for you.
have a lot of year-round walk-through. Like, I wouldn't call them necessarily haunted attractions, but like, I don't even know what you would call them.
Haunted experiences.
Something like that. But I remember going to one when I went to the Dells last, that it was like a pyramid, and it was like a treasure hunt kind of thing.
I believe it's called Lost Temple.
Yes, that was it, Lost Temple. And it's like a guided experience where like you have a tour guide, and then she gets turned into a skeleton, like we're on our own, we have to find the key to defeat the mummy, and like it's like a guided kind of experience, and it's family friendly, so it's not like too scary, but they're really fun, and they're inside like a building, so you can do it year round.
Yeah, and so
Dells
right
have a lot of stuff
next
like that.
to, I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but right next to Lost Temple is actually another little haunted house called Ghost Outpost. That was really cool.
And all of these are year round, right?
Yeah. So and it's again another haunt experience.
Which is hard to find in the Midwest.
Very hard.
A year-round haunted
A
attraction.
year-round haunted attraction.
Yeah, they're
because
very
we
few
have
and far between.
winter.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got this beautiful thing called winter.
We get Halloween, and then we kind of shut down, go inside, watch movies, watch basketball, and then when
Get
it's
ready
spring
for winter.
again. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that was really cool. It was just a lot of animatronics, you know, a lot of like drip sensors, whatnot. But that was, I mean, it was cool.
But Ghost Boat just sounds
Ghost
like
Boat was-
so on a different level.
Ghost Boat was it.
You have to
Ghost
say
Boat.
it like you're from Wisconsin. Ghost
Ghost-
boat.
Ghost Boat.
Ghost boat.
Ghost Boat.
That's what we're gonna bleep our swear words out with from
Ghost
now on.
boat.
Ghost Boat.
Boat. Boat.
I don't know if it's still there, but last time I went to Wisconsin Dells, this was years ago when I was like 16, I think. They had a zombie apocalypse laser tag, and it was so fun. And you went through a house basically, and it was like an apocalypse area. So you went through a hospital, you went through like fences and barricades and houses and stuff, and there were actors dressed as zombies, and they were the targets. Like, they had the laser tag headbands on, and you had to shoot them, and headshots only, like, you're gonna kill a zombie, you know.
Right.
Remove
And-
the head or destroy the brain.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was really fun. The actors were really great, and the group I was paired up with was these like 12-year-old boys that you
Oof.
could tell, like, you know, they were on like Black Ops servers and stuff. Like, they thought they were gonna be
That was their
really
life.
good at this, yeah. And they
Trash.
were terrified. They were scared. Like, they were so scared. And I
Dude.
was like, get behind me. Pew, 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 pew. I was like, get behind me. I've got this.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Come with me if you want to live. And
Yeah.
my name is Michaela.
Yeah, that was a really fun thing.
But
in the
that
Dells.
that's about it of my experience with those.
Wow. I'm so
I would love to.
Jealous.
Yeah, I would really love to actually sit down with them and you know, pick their brains on how Ghost Boat came about.
Because that's a whole different way of thinking about a haunted attraction.
Very much so. Very much so. So that was something absolutely insane that I don't think I'll really be able to experience anywhere else other than Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's kind of like Raven's Grin. It's a very unique experience.
Yeah.
Ghost Boat.
Ghost
is a
Boat.
very unique experience. And I would say that we're going to jump after you tell us all about which now you've told us all about Ghost Boat. I think we should talk about something that a lot of people have experienced, and that is
The Conjuring 3.
Well,
the
and
devil
I
made
know,
me do it.
I know, Dan, you saw it with your daughter.
Yes.
Right, Cordy.
Yes.
And I know we're actually going to go grab Cordy right now, and we're going to bring her on the show so she can actually speak about some of the stuff that she saw in
Yes,
that experience
because
as well.
at 15 she's got a unique perspective, whereas me growing up in the horror genre, I'm trying to bring her in a piece at a time, but it didn't work. Like, it wasn't a piece at a time. It wasn't
Did you just
tiptoe.
did you just
was-
like balls of the wall? Just here's 1, 2, 3.
No, we just shoved her into the pool.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
As the pandemic kind of sees light at the end of the tunnel and theaters are opening up, and HBO Max hoses theaters by putting movies in and on streaming at the exact same time as they release them in theaters, personal rant aside, we went to see it on the big screen.
I watched it on HBO Max.
HBO Max. Sorry.
As long as James Wan gets a cut, I'll be okay with it. But we all saw The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It.
He did.
Did he?
All right, so
I don't know, maybe.
should we start out with just giving like overall rating out of 10, and then go
Absolutely.
from there?
I will say that I'm not a fan of out of 10 rating.
Well, that's
I'll
too bad.
I'll just kind of, why?
So just like an overall rating of the movie as a whole, Counting the effects, the acting, the story, what would you give it, Chris?
I would definitely go with a solid 8.
Okay.
A solid 8. What are you thinking, Dan?
Dan?
If I have to give it a number, I'll give it about a 7.
7?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Which is not a bad thing. It's definitely above average.
Yeah. Cordy, what do you think?
I give it like a 5.
A 5.
Ooh, tough critic.
Really?
Tough critic.
She's been chewing on it these past couple weeks. I see what's going on.
Yeah. I have a reason though.
Okay. All right, we'll get to that.
Michaela.
Lastly,
I would give it like a 6.5.
okay.
Out of all of like the Conjuring universe, so
Yeah.
like including the Nun and the Annabelle movies and everything, it was like my second least favorite.
Ooh.
I love the Conjuring movies. I think the actors in it, I know Vera, and I always forget the guy's name.
Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson. I always want to say Patrick Stewart, and I'm like, that's not correct.
I can see
Yes.
your belly.
Yes, so Patrick
Yes.
Wilson.
Look it up. I can see your belly, Patrick Stewart. It's hilarious.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway,
I think that they're phenomenal. I love their acting, and they do such a great job. Big fan of them. I just, like, the story didn't capture me this time. Like,
Agreed.
the actual plot itself with, the actual, like, guy that got possessed. And why that was with, like, so, like, by the way, if it wasn't clear, we're going to kind of spoil the movie. It's kind of recent, so you haven't seen it, and you don't want to know, don't watch this part.
spoiler alert.
But the whole, like, woman that was cursing these people, we didn't really ever find out why, or, like, what was her motive.
Right.
We find out she, like, sold her soul, basically, and if she didn't give the devil these souls that she cursed, it would be hers instead. And I just didn't like that we never knew, like, why.
Yeah, if I had to take issue with the movie in any way to knock those 3 points off of the 10, that would be it. Like, what was her motivation?
Mm-hmm.
And her motivation was simply, I think, in regards to a movie motivation, it was, well, the evil guy is just the evil guy.
Yeah.
In this case, the evil woman was just the evil woman for the sake of being the evil woman.
All we got for her backstory was she was that priest's, like, adopted daughter.
No, illegitimate. Priests aren't
Oh.
supposed to have relations with women.
Well,
Therefore, having children is right out.
Yeah, so...
same thing. Close enough. His, like, estranged daughter emotionally that
Yep.
would just, like, grew up with a fascination with the occult, and that was just, like, the whole reason. Like, okay, so she likes the occult, so now she's, like, making deals with the devil. That's
Like,
the whole...
Yeah.
She's crazy.
Why did you
Yeah.
do it? Because I can.
Yeah.
Cordy,
So-
what are your thoughts?
So I just think I agree with Michaela because it's like there wasn't a real reason on why she did it. Like all the other movies, there's usually a pretty clear plot, which this one, I know they were trying to be creative and make it really good. It's just, something just fell off about it. It's not like, it was completely different than all the other movies because I might have been the only one that didn't really recognize this. Maybe not, I don't know. But there weren't a lot of like monsters as there usually is, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't the nun. There wasn't the
Annabelle.
what's the guy? There wasn't the Annabelle. There wasn't that character.
Yeah,
It was literally just a possession,
of Arnie.
and...
Which we didn't even really get to see very much of.
No.
Who was the demon that possessed Arnie? It was just what? Random demon, roll a d20. Oh, that's the demon we get.
Yeah, we didn't learn anything about who it was. Where the other Conjuring movies, it's Valak, who is a
Right.
recurring like entity,
Mhm.
and that was like the origin of the nun and everything, and that like spanned across several movies, but this one didn't have that like depth to it. It was
Yeah.
just like, you're possessed and you are scary and
Yeah.
want to kill people.
Like, the backstory for me is, so why would that demon choose the child? Right? We didn't really get a backstory. I
The
don't
kid
believe.
in the beginning.
Yes, the very
Yeah.
beginning. We never really got a backstory as to why was it the kid.
Now, considering
And-
that this was based on a true story, maybe there is an explanation
Well-
in the book.
So I, obviously, as I do, I heavily researched like the true story behind this.
This one specifically?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. There is a
And-
book that you can buy that is the story, right?
Well, I don't know if there's a book, but just like from Ed and Lorraine's like life story or whatever.
Yeah,
Actually, no, I think Lorraine did write a book about it, but the case, it was the first case like held with a jury in law. I don't know what a trial. That's the word I'm looking for. A trial where Ed and Lorraine Warren actually did suggest that his case is he was possessed. Like, it was the first ever case where their defense
Right.
was he was
Right.
possessed, which didn't hold up in a court of law, by the way. But like, a lot of the actual plot part was true. Like, he really did kill the landlord, and they used the exact words when the police like pulled him over, and he's like, I think I hurt someone. He like actually did that. Where like a police
That gave me
found
shivers.
him. Yeah, like, so a lot of the plot of that story was true, which I think was really cool. They were holding true to all that stuff, but
Yeah.
the
There-
part where they were filming in for like the movie part, I wish that it would have held up to how cool the actual story was. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I just have a lot of opinions. So please take it away from me.
Yeah, so for me, the film itself is beautiful. And what I mean by that is the visual aspect of a lot of the things that you were seeing on the screen.
That director of photography, that DP, was on point.
He did a fantastic job.
Right.
Fantastic job. I loved a lot of the switching of Lorraine's. You could, as it was,
There
as
was
she,
themes.
there really was themes.
There was a theme behind when Lorraine was looking back. There was a theme when we were in the middle of an exorcism. There were lighting effects that applied to each one. It's like you went, here's the layer effects we add to this scene, and this is a exorcism layer effects. This is Ed. Yep.
I
flashback.
mean, my biggest pet peeve was, and I would have to watch it again to be able to pinpoint where I had this feeling. Oh, we have a little kitten, by the way.
Yeah, the drama of my neighborhood right now is that we have about 8 cats running around. They're all strays. One's in my garage, one's in my bathroom, and one is right there on my deck as we speak. Literally right there as we speak. This is so much fun.
Well, we're gonna have cats running around. It's fine. But I wanted more there of the story, right? There were a couple spots where obviously it seemed like it was, oh, this is 2 acts. Act 1 is now over. Here's Act 2. I wanted more there. I wanted to know, hey, what happened between this act,
I
right?
still think that Act 3 was very like, all right, she did it. How do we fix it? We fix it. Movie done.
Yeah.
Like, it was really... You could tell that this was not a James Wan directed flick. That this was James Wan saying, here's my torch. Here you go. Tell the story you want to tell. Tell it how you want to tell it. You got my name on it, so it's going to make money.
Right.
But this is a very different film if that's what you want it to be.
Now, with all of that aside, I love visuals. I've always been a fan of visuals. So obviously towards the very end, when he breaks the altar and she comes out, and then the demon comes out for her.
That was
The way she contorted
yeah.
and the snapping and everything. Oh, I hit that pause button so fast. I walked around the house just, yes, 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 yes. I loved it. I loved that. But that's just the blood gore
But that's the
person.
movie fan in you. That's the
Yes.
the climax, the want that you have for a climax. You got that.
Yeah.
But I think we needed a little bit more build up to that climax.
Yeah.
And yeah, that climax was so satisfying. There just needed to be.
There needed to be more.
got-
I wanted to know.
She can do it. She did it. Move on.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure every single one of us is going to say the same thing, but we just kind of wanted a little bit more from the story. Right? Am I wrong? Like, no.
No, I disagree.
Oh.
I got the story. See, that was the thing. This was not a horror movie.
No, I
This
agree.
was a suspense thriller.
I think the Conjuring movies, there are the slasher films with a lot of gore, and then the Paranormal Activity movies where I'm like, why are these even big? I hate them. They're not scary. You're
Oh, I
just
love
watching
I
your
love them so.
your Ring camera footage and then The Conjuring has their own little universe, and they have people have high expectations for those movies because they're really good, but I think they're just progressively getting less scary.
Yeah, that's why I say that this one was a suspense
Yeah.
thriller. This one was about the court drama. This was about the suspense of. This was Ed and Lorraine Warren's story.
Yeah,
this was
I was
not the
gonna say
nuns'
it had
story.
a
This
lot
was not
more
Valak's story.
about Ed and Lorraine,
Yeah.
which is cool, and I love that. But
And it makes
I
me
want to be scared.
explore them and their experiences more.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm watching that on the big screen, what I want is
I want to be
see-
terrified.
Exactly.
Yes. Lorraine actually passed away, I think, in 2019, and she got to make a cameo in the second Conjuring, I believe it was.
Oh.
How have I missed this? I've
Yeah,
dived into this thing, and I can't believe I don't know this.
I think it's the second Conjuring where they're giving their little talk show recap at the
Yep.
end.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the front row of the audience.
Oh, time to go back.
Yeah.
All right.
Oof.
Well, time to dive deep into that one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it feels like the Conjuring 2 are like planets. This felt like a moon. Like it felt like something that belongs there,
Yeah.
but something that you gotta kind of go out there to visit, and maybe you will, maybe you won't. But yeah, there was something underwhelming about it, and I think it's because it was not a horror movie, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it
I would
was
say it
a
was more of a
suspense
thriller.
movie. Yep.
But with a title like The Devil Made Me Do It, I had really high expectations.
The Conjuring gives me.
Yeah.
You put The Conjuring there.
Yeah.
You assume James Wan is going to bring his A game, and then you find out that it's not even James Wan directing. He wrote it, he produced it, he passed the torch.
And said, "Here, make it."
It's like Steven Spielberg saying, "Hey, so-and-so, I'm not directing Indiana Jones anymore. It's all you now. What do you
Well,
expect?"
But
I still love Indiana Jones, okay? I thought the fourth movie was great. And there's a
Agreed.
fifth one coming out.
The fifth one is
Agreed.
not being directed by Steven Spielberg. See,
Yeah.
that's why we'll have this conversation again where we go, did you see Indiana Jones 5? Oh, yeah, that was like Conjuring 3.
Yeah.
Where you could
We'll make
tell that James
comparison.
Wan handed the torch off to somebody else. And
Courtney.
yeah, it's not part of that solar system of the
We
Conjuring
have been
universe,
talking a lot.
'cause
What
that's
are your
we do.
other thoughts on this? Do you have any other opinions on anything in
You're
particular?
15. This movie is like geared toward you.
So kind
These are
of,
rated
I'm
R.
gonna get off the topic of the stuff I don't like about the movie. I want to talk about, I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but I wanted to talk about Ed and Lorraine's relationship because it's like, this was a really big role in this movie, was the relationship and how they got closer. I just, their relationship is completely, it's so different than anyone else's, like from what I've seen. They're really, really close, and like they just love each other very much. And I really like that in the movie because it just shows a lot of that.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
kind of towards the end of the movie when they were done destroying the altar and all of that, and Lorraine opened her locket with the medication in it and handed it to him.
Oh yeah.
Like, that was,
As a married man, that brought a tear to my eye.
yeah, because,
I mean,
Me and Chris were literally talking about this off camera, like while you were going to get Cordy, and I was like, I looked it up after that movie was over to see if Patrick and Vera were married, because I was like, they have so much chemistry
Yeah.
and they act so well together.
It's like John Krasinski with Emily Blunt
Yeah,
in The Quiet Place.
and they
You can feel that. In this
Yeah.
movie, you felt that. And those
Yeah.
two,
and they're not married.
no,
and
they're
I
not.
was outraged.
John and Emily are married.
Yeah, they are.
But these two, on the other hand, but you felt that in
Yeah.
your
Well,
heart.
and it's probably because they've done, you know, how many movies together. They're both very big, like, horror movie, like, actors. So they've probably been in a ton of movies together, so they, like, have that down. But I was just like, I want to believe that they are in love.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
look so happy.
yeah.
yeah.
Is
I
that
think they
what you
were-
wish for me? Do you want your dad to be that much in love?
Hey, keep that off camera. Just kidding. Whatever. We'll leave that in.
My wife doesn't watch the shows. I'm in the clip.
Me, 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 me.
So, another thing I'm, like, when I watch horror movies, just movies in general, I really like to pay attention to the color in it. A lot of my friends, when they watch movies, are just like, whatever, it's just a movie, but I really like to pay close attention to, like, the camera angles and the detail put into the movie.
The colors applied to this movie.
Yeah, like, the
I just
color,
can't get over that.
the scene where Arnie was like, he could tell something was happening and he was hiding in that corner, backing up in that corner, looking through the window, and it turned red. That was like kind of when I was like, this is like, I really like the color in this already. And there was so much color in the movie, and usually in every single Conjuring movie there's always a whole bunch of colors and so much to look at. So I really, really like that about it. And yeah, another thing though, sorry, I'm kind of talking a lot.
Oh, go ahead.
girl,
Keep
girl,
going.
you're
going.
You're talking. You've talked less than we have, so keep going.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, kind of, it just jumped in right away. They started the movie with, like, the kid getting possessed, and then they had to try to, like, do their thing.
That kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
as
was
an
really
actor.
good.
He was a great actor. It also, like, made me, it may or may not have made me cry a little bit
My
to, like,
jaw.
see him,
Open the
like,
entire.
be upset and cry. I don't like seeing little kiddos, like, upset in movies.
You're not even a mom. As a
No,
dad,
I don't
that
even
just-
like. I don't even want kids or have any interest in that. But like, he just had this big glasses and his big eyes, and he looked so upset that he was being possessed, and I just felt really bad. So clearly, the movie evicts emotion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It did yep.
They hit hard on that one.
Yeah, that they came out swinging with that first scene.
Yeah, they did.
It was just already jump in, because there's a lot of, you rarely see movies where they just jump in right away. And this was just one of those movies where you're like, oh, the scene just started. We just started the movie, but we don't know what's coming next, so we just have to get ready and we just have to hold on to our seats, or else we're probably going to die.
But that's what James Wan did. James Wan said, look, this is number 3. You don't have to waste time building up to X, Y, and Z because these characters have done that for us now twice. Let that go. Just move on. Just jump in. Do your thing. Let my name, let the Conjuring name, let Ed and Lorraine tell their story, and let Patrick Wilson and Vera be who they are, which is Ed and Lorraine, and you're golden.
I have one thing that I also want to touch on. This scene that I was just like, what did I just watch? When they break into the morgue. Like, I
took issue with that.
That was
Ditto.
just such a bizarre scene.
But if they did it,
The thing, okay, so
if it's in the book,
we know based on the other movies and just like in real life in general that Lorraine was a medium and she was able to kind of pick up what happened here before, like she can see it, and they showed us that a little bit in like a scene or two, especially in The Conjuring 2, where she was like, Ed, I saw your death, and you know, like, but this one we see that a lot more, where she's literally like in their bodies, like experiencing, like when she was there helping finding this girl or whatever. I can't even keep it straight because it was like, just like too much for me.
They
like,
wanted to make the movie about the possession of Arnie and the story of
and
that.
But it was
really
like
what it was
seeing Lorraine's gifts.
Story about her being the medium that she is. Yeah.
But that was kind of a new. I keep wanting to like compare it to superpowers. Like, I mean, it is a superpower. Not very many people can say that they can do that.
Right.
And we got to see that a lot more in this movie, where it's like, oh, okay, so now she can sense from a place where they were, like, I know that they were here, they were doing this, I can see it from their point of view of what happened. And then they're like, hey, you know, we're just regular people doing our life thing. Let's break into a morgue. Ed just punches through the glass, and it was like, we'll deal with that like felony later.
I'll leave a note.
Yeah. And
I'll leave $100 bill for the glass broken.
I was so confused why the dead, waterlogged bodies
was still slimy.
Yeah, we're getting up and trying to like fight them. I was like, okay. So we're just going to gloss over that, and they're just not going to talk about that again.
I took issue with the fact that dead body pulled out of the river hours before it was still slimy and wet.
Well, like,
atmosphere.
Yeah.
I get it. Whatever.
I am grateful that I've never seen a dead, bloated, waterlogged body. I don't know how they would look, but I'm talking about the one that, like, got up and started, like, coming after them.
Shouldn't have looked like that.
And he was like, Lorraine, like, let go. And she was like, I'm trying to see, like, the cave. And he's like, I just had a heart attack and I'm not going to be able to fight this giant person that's dead but alive somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I would like to know, you know, did the morgue contact somebody the next morning where they're like, hey, why are their bodies on the floor? Everything is wet and knocked over.
Pretty sure we're seeing the fudging in the script there, guys. Yeah, that's.
I just felt like they could have been creative with that exposition of the court side, where now they're proving that Lorraine can do these things by helping out with other cases that are also linked. Like, I just felt like that was a lot of extra that we could have like put into the actual story of Arnie.
Yeah. It was creatively unrealistic.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the movie was creatively realistic.
I thought it was really interesting that this is the first case where they ever had a defendant plead guilty or not guilty by possession. Mm-hmm. And I would have liked to know more about that.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
He was ultimately found guilty, and they didn't really care that he was possessed.
I
But-
plan on reading the book, so.
I think that
See
it
what
would have been
happens.
interesting to hear about some more.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Love that music. The music's on Spotify. Oh my god, the music. I listened to it for a week. If there was
Yeah.
anything that maintained my excitement for that movie and kept it at a 7, 8
Yeah.
sort of rating, the music.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm being nitpicky. The movie was very entertaining, and they always have great production. Like Cordy
Always.
said, it's beautifully shot,
Yep.
and the acting is great.
Yep.
No issues with that.
Nope.
But
Yeah. Well, sadly, we have run out of time. Cordy, thank you.
Thank you.
thank
so
you for
much.
joining us,
Thank
Cordy.
you for being a horror fan.
Yes.
If you were not a horror fan, I think I'd be lost in life as a dad.
Oof.
That's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders.
Well, once again, thank you. Much appreciated for you coming on the show.
She calls Evil Dead a comfort movie.
A comfort movie
Hey, that's a good one, though.
I mean, it
I
is a
have
good
seen
one.
that one.
is a good one. I know.
What? Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yep,
What?
I have seen that one.
Well, Dan, take it away.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. You guys know Cordy. Are you on the socials?
Yeah, but I have Instagram for my haunt character, but I'm
Oh.
working on a new character. So I'm trying to
go.
figure that out.
Coming this year.
Yeah, I get the
Coming
receipts
soon.
from Amazon. She keeps buying this junk on Amazon. I'm like, what are you buying? The drugs? And she's like, no, I'm buying my costume for my character. I'm like, that's a proud dad right there.
Proud dad moment.
Perfect. Well,
Basically, I have pretty much everything. All my like social media is like Living Dead Girl. That's like my username for everything. So Instagram,
Living
TikTok,
Dead Girl.
all of that.
All right. Michaela?
You can find me if you care about my normal life, just at my name, Michaela Vandersanden. Or if you want to talk to Bendy, I have posted officially my new costume from Midnight Mayhem Apparel on there. If you want to check it out, you can
Not
find
Midnight
Bendy
Syndicate.
the Jester. Right, not Midnight Syndicate, that's the music. Midnight Mayhem makes our costumes.
Yes.
2 different midnights.
Very different.
Chris, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at WRXTofu. If you want to find Bobo, you can find him on Instagram as well under Bobo the A Clown. Dan?
I'm getting slightly. I'm an old man, so I'm slightly more active on Instagram these days. Every time I post a nice, sexy selfie of myself, I get a like out of Jason Smith from Food Network.
Oh.
It's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So you can find me on Instagram. Just look Dan Alpers up. There's only 2 of us in the entire country, and you can't miss me. So.
Wow, that's
perfect.
But if you like the Rotten Flesh Radio logo, etc., you can find that stuff on Facebook, Dan Alpers Design. In the meantime, we're gonna be back. I don't know what we're gonna talk about next time.
I know we've talked about so much tonight.
We
It's
have.
been
gonna be a
so much
surprise.
It's summer. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So in the meantime, check us out on our Instagrams, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye. I really, really, really have to pee again.
I had
Oh,
Oh yeah.